What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rush the Wars. Well, today, as I said on the chat, I'm grinding through this human team for Blood Bowl. This is an old edition. It's a copy of the old edition. I think it's just the old edition, refurbished, repackaged. This is the 2003 edition of Blood Bowl. I'm just trying to get it out of my table. I have plenty of miniatures to paint, and grinding them, it's what is gonna be happening today. I've been doing a little bit of extra work on them. If you were in yesterday's stream, you probably saw how I painted one of them, the whole 9 yards with this guy. Let me just zoom in. Boom. This is a Reikland Reaver. It's the basic human blitzer. I think he's a lineman, actually. He's the basic lineman on the team, and I painted the base with Goblin green. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary for the era, just keeping it simple, trying to emulate those paint jobs from the 90s. So welcome back to the channel. I'm just gonna be here chilling. If you want to ask me questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. If you want to see anything from my collection, I'm more than happy to produce whatever is close to me, because believe me, I have so many miniatures, I have so many books. But maybe if you're looking for something in particular, maybe I have it in my collection. Maybe it's an old edition of Warhammer Fantasy, maybe something from 40k. I don't have that much from 40k, but I do have a few things from 40k, from the old era. And without further ado, just chill with the music and paint with me. Are you guys painting anything? If you're painting along, let me know. If you have any questions about how I paint miniatures, let me know. If you have anything that you want to talk about, I don't mind talking about almost anything, as long as my channel doesn't get demonetized and closed. So bear that in mind, okay? I'm trying to be politically correct, although when I drink a couple of beers, sometimes that doesn't happen. So, not that I vouch for people drinking alcohol. Stay away from it, kids. It's not fun. The older I get, the more I see that the benefits of drinking any alcohol are diminishing returns. And I like how the kids nowadays basically stay away from it. It is as if they are way smarter than we actually are. Let me just see if I can get my camera in the center so I can paint where I'm supposed to be painting. They are way smarter than we used to be as younglings. I mean, come to think of it, I don't really cherish the memories of when I was in university and things like that. It was kind of like a competition between us and who could hold the most alcohol and do the most stupid things. But coming to sum it all up as a whole, not really worth it. So kids nowadays, they are way wiser than we used to be. I guess we had our fun, but if you come to think of the amount of money that you have spent in silliness and in destroying your liver, they are way ahead of the curve here. That's my opinion. Okay, I'm batch painting these. Holy crap, there are just too many humans and I'm not enjoying that process. But I'm gonna focus right now only on a few of miniatures over here, because otherwise it is going to take a while. And as you can see, I'm painting these are the guys who catch, the receivers, los recibidores, and these guys are, well, the throwers. I don't know how you call them in English, because I am not familiar with the game. I haven't familiarized myself with the game. Right now I'm rushing through it, trying to paint as much as I can, as fast as possible, so I can get it sorted out before I move back to where I usually live, which is Romania, and I can have this game painted and on the shelf. Yes, I'm collecting all games, painting them, putting them back on the shelf in a state that is more or less playable. I like that. It's a little bit self-defeating, isn't it? If you come to think of it, why would you be doing that? Like, you paint games and don't play with them. Well, I've said it several times. I like the feeling of giving myself the gifts that I couldn't afford when I was a kid. I'm basically paying backward to myself, as when I was a kid, when I was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. I didn't have enough money to buy all the things that I have from Warhammer nowadays. painting them also is part of that catharsis, that process where you basically are cleansing the palette for your own spite. Like, I wish I had the skills back then to paint fast and to paint more or less decently, and to have all the paints and all the techniques that I have nowadays. Drop me a message on the chat box. I want to see what you guys are up to. If you have anything on your desk, if you want to ask me questions, as usual, I'm more than happy to oblige and answer to those. For instance, one of my questions today is anybody playing Blood Bowl? Because, as I said, in here, in where I am right now, which is northern Spain, Asturias, it is quite popular. It seems to be one of those games that no matter what, people will be playing. I think it's the simplicity, because first of all, the rules are streamlined. They are not complex rules. And the other thing that it is that you don't need a huge warband or a huge army to play it. Bam, that's a plus. Okay, you can convince anybody to buy a small box of miniatures and maybe hopefully paint them and get to play with you games. And secondly, it doesn't have a big footprint, as opposed to games like Necromunda or Morheim, where you need to have lots of buildings, lots of scenery, lots of stuff to actually make it work. This game is just a small board. So, Dani, pues van a hacer ahora mismo una nueva edición de Blood Bowl. Me estaba contando True acerca de ella, y hay minis nuevas. Esta es viejita ya. This is from 2003. Pero sí que va a haber una nueva edición. Si te gusta el concepto, get yourself the video game, because the video game seems to be very faithful to what the game actually is. So if you are not willing to be painting miniatures, if you're not willing to get into the hobby per se, or if you have way too many miniatures and whatnot, and you just don't want to do more, then you can always get the video game and have a similar experience to what this game is about. I don't know if there is a big community online for the game nowadays, because it's kind of old, but I guess it's fun anyways. It's like, if you look at things from this perspective, it's like Warhammer Total War. There are a lot of people playing Warhammer Total War. Even though Warhammer Fantasy setting, it's not as lively as it used to be back in the 2000s, even with the old world out there. Así que si te apetece ver cómo funciona el juego, siempre puedes comprarte el videojuego y probar a ver cómo va. Bueno, Warhammer Total War es una puñetera pasada. Los videojuegos de Warhammer últimamente se están luciendo. No sé si has jugado Bolt Gun, que es un first person shooter, que es como un boomer shooter, como muy similar a como era, por ejemplo, estéticamente, en el sentido de cómo están hechos los píxeles y tal. Ostras, se me ha ido a Doom, madre mía, se me ha ido la olla totalmente, a Doom. Y es un vicio de juego, y es barato y es súper divertido. So if you can get a hold of Bolt Gun, the Space Marine video game, like a FPS Space Marine, it's an Ultramarine shooting Chaos Warriors, my god, Chaos Space Marines left and right. Super fun video game, worth every single penny. I had so much fun with that video game. I like FPSs, so the new Space Marine video game, it was fun, it was beautiful aesthetically, but I had more fun with Bolt Gun, because it's just not my avenue, FPS. A mí, yo me lo pasé mucho mejor con Bolt Gun, mucho mejor. El otro, bueno, está bien, tiene sus mecánicas, pero es que a mí me gustan los FPS, y el otro no es exactamente un FPS, es otra cosa. Bueno, ahí va uno. Hoy me voy a dedicar a estos. I'm just gonna focus on these ones. Solo esto. Nada más. Because otherwise I'm gonna go crazy, okay? You have to limit yourself sometimes. Because if you try to tackle too many minis at the same time, you burn out. And I don't want to burn out. I just want to get them out of the table. But I don't want to do it at the cost of feeling that I'm not moving forward. So if I tackle only these guys, there is a big chance that I'm gonna have them mostly finished or completely finished tonight. And that's a big you know, push in your mindset, because if you see things being finished, then all of a sudden you feel like painting a little bit more the next day. If you feel like you're dragging your feet, si ves que te está costando un triunfo pintar las minis, para un poco, okay? Stop a little bit, reconsider, replan, and tackle it differently. Because I was saying this yesterday, I have done big batch painting a few times, and it's just such a chore. It's just too much. I don't enjoy it alone. But if I do it in more, you know, more limited runs, it is much more enjoyable and much more fun. I did that when I was painting my Space Hulk. Cuando pinté mi Space Hulk, pintaba un par de marines todos los días, a couple of Terminators every night, and it was very fun, because you could see literally on the shelf the whole squad growing every day, and in a week and a half or something like that, you will have the Space Marines, the Blood Angels, or whatever you're painting them as, all the Ultra, sorry, not the Ultra, all the Terminators sorted out and painted, and that is a big boost of morale. When you get to the Gene Stealers, then yeah, it becomes a little bit more, I don't know, more samey, but same thing. If you paint a couple of them every night, it becomes quite feasible. A ver, who else is online? Because I'm just seeing my dear Daniel here. Is anybody else online? Just drop me a message, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the music. It's a little bit more different. It's not as, you know, the usual Celtic, folkish, electronic rock metal that I put. It's a different type of music. I was looking for something a little bit more industrial, mechanical, something that was, you know, a palette cleanser as well. But I don't know what music will go well with Blood Bowl, because it's kind of, yeah, it's a fantasy game, but at the same time it doesn't feel like that epicness of fantasy, if you know what I mean. You don't have the shiny armor warrior defeating dragons. It's not like that. Although Warhammer in general is not like that, is it? Very few instances of real heroes. We have anti-heroes, anti-villains, we have a few of those here and there, but we don't really have big heroes in the universe here. You have people with different motivations, but yeah. One, two, three. I have another one of these guys, and I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna paint the ball, because the ball in the base game looks oranges, and I was thinking, okay, what combo of colors should I use to have the pig skin here look like that? Look at the drastic, very raw, very, you know, crappy highlights that I'm getting with white. I know it shocks some people sometimes. I'm pretty sure that some of you, if you haven't been in my channel ever, you're gonna think I'm doing an awful job here. But there is method to this madness. Rushing the wash is always a method to the madness, but madness is never far away. A ver, I will pull it off, and you will, guys, you will be convinced about what is going on here, I suppose, I guess. I mean, at the end result is like this, okay? So it's not that bad, and it went through the same process as this guy. So my favorite Warhammer video game, I think it is Vermintide, because Vermintide combines a few things that I find very cool. The first one is that is in the Warhammer setting, the Warhammer fantasy setting. So that already has earned my approval. Warhammer Fantasy is my favorite fantasy setting, bar none. And although I do like, okay, I have to say, I do like the setting of Warhammer 40k, I am a fantasy guy through and through. That's the first thing. Secondly, is an FPS. first-person shooter. For me, FPS is the best way to actually get immersed in a game. Any kind of game that is a first person, I enjoy. Cyberpunk, one of my favorite video games ever. I love it because of that. What other? Oh yeah, Stalker 2. I sunk a lot of hours on that game. The ending is atrocious, but I really enjoy the game because of the immersion as well. And it's just so moody and so atmospheric. So that's another big selling point for me on Vermintide. And then on top of all that, para encima, okay, on top of all that, it is a cooperative game. So you are not playing against other people, which sometimes will piss you off to no end. If I play Battlefield, for instance, which I love by the way, but if I play Battlefield and I start seeing such things, it just pisses me off to no end. Whereas if there is a cheater in my team in Vermintide, well, I guess, okay, fine. At least it's not, you know, killing me and going against me. It's diminishing the fun of the challenge, but it's not as destructive as it is a cheater in an FPS on a game where you're fighting each other. Very cool games, Vermintide. Fat Shark had all this silliness thrown into the game all the time. There were events for Halloween, there were events for Christmas, there were events all the time. I just had so much fun with that game. More so because I was playing it quite a lot with my friends during the pandemic, and it was just a lot of fun. We were talking crap, people were getting killed left and right, we tried to save each other, and it was just fun, you know, being a high level character and getting some friends just to buy the game and just helping them to advance through their characters as well. Very fun stuff. But that's one of my favorite games. No, that's my favorite game on anything Warhammer. Another game that I really enjoyed for Warhammer was Warhammer Quest, the first one. The first one, I think you can still buy it on Steam, but I'm not really sure. I used to have it as a mobile phone game. That's where it was magnificent. It was very cool. It is very, 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 very similar to the game per se, like the 95 Warhammer Quest. On the first iteration that they had for the mobile phone, it was very, very similar. It was just fun. You will go into catacombs. It was a procedurally generated dungeon, although I'm not really sure. I think the dungeons were not procedurally generated. They were already generated and whatnot. And you will be fighting spiders, which were super annoying with the web, rats with the skitterlip, deathlip, sorry, not skitterlip. Skitterlip is a spell from Warhammer Fantasy. And you will be fighting night goblins, trolls, all kinds of things that you will encounter in the game. Very fun game. If you can't get a hold of it and you just want something that you can play on the go, although I think Google Store doesn't sell it anymore, if you can get a hold of it somehow, highly recommend it for, you know, if you are commuting or something like that, or you have some few hours to kill every now and then, like on a plane or something like that. Very fun game. And those are my favorite video games on Warhammer. Do you guys have any video games that you like playing on Warhammer? I do have Morheim, but I never got into it seriously. I played Necromunda, the one that is also an FPS. It was decent, it was fun, but it's not memorable enough in order for me to reinstall and play it again. It was okay. And what else have I played? I never played this one. I never played Blood Bowl. But there are games and games and games out there nowadays. They are very silly games for Warhammer, and they are small strategy games for 40k. And I see that this is going to be something that is going to be more and more prevalent. I wish there was something similar to Cyberpunk in, for instance, Necromunda. That will be cool. Or something like The Witcher or Skyrim, you know, where you go exploring ruins in the old world. That will be very, very fun. Even if it's limited in the scope of where you are going to be doing these things, that will be super cool. I think Warhammer will lend itself very well to that. It's finding that balance on the exploration, the role-playing aspects of it, because Warhammer by default is lethal. It's a universe that is not Dungeons and Dragons. If you play the role-playing game, the game is not holding hands with anybody, or at least the first editions of the game. Madness stuff like, and I like the classes and whatnot. You can be a rat catcher, a witch hunter, of course a troll slayer, all this crazy stuff, which I think is very typical of European games, isn't it? We don't do things like the Americans do for that. All right, let's go to the metallics. And I think vamos a ver. First of all, I need a brush. The cool thing about today miniatures is only 3 of them have any armor whatsoever. Metallics. I was looking at some pictures for inspiration on the Reikland Reavers. I just wanted to stick to the official colors of the team as they are on, you know, on the game. But the new one has, well, the new miniatures are better, okay? The new miniatures, they are better, and they have a little bit more color. They have whites and they have other stuff going on in them. And I also found the very old miniatures from 2nd edition. 1st edition, I'm quoting from what I read, okay, used to have standees. That means pieces of cardboard that you just put on the table, and they will take the place of the miniatures. And on the 2nd edition, they made proper miniatures, which is I mean, your Games Workshop, right? Citadel miniatures are the defining factor of the company after a while. But the miniatures that I saw from the Reikland Reavers were painted, or at least the drawings that were recommending the colors were painted. A lot of yellow was put in them, like, which is weird because Reikland, this province, if you look at the uniforms of the Empire, the book that tells you how each province actually dressed, the colors of whatever army is in the Empire there. Reikland is blue and red, not blue and yellow. Blue and yellow is Nordland, which is a different province altogether. So these guys have a uniform that it's kind of not really Reiklandish, if that makes any sense. But I like the combo anyways. I think it's a very striking, very nice combo. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stick to the official colors. There we go. Okay, we have also this part of the helmet. Careful now. And the Aquila Imperialis, the Imperial Eagle, on the helmet. There we are. Okay. Just 3 more like this one, because these guys don't have much armor. These guys just have this small plate over here. That's it, nothing else. This thing over here, and just that thing on the helmet. Hey, more people. Welcome everybody. How are you guys doing? Tell me if you are painting along with me. What are you painting? What are you doing right now? Are you gonna be playing Blood Bowl? Are you gonna be getting the new minis for Blood Bowl? Have you ever played Blood Bowl? Is it one of those games that you never touch. You thought that it wouldn't fit much with what you expect from a fantasy setting, which is more or less what I used to think, or I'm thinking. I still think it. I think that this is like a. I don't see this very well explained in you know, if you have. How do you explain in this fantasy setting where you have witch hunters and chaos is absolute heresy, that you're gonna invite a team from the chaos wastes and they're gonna play football in your country or in your city? I don't think that's ever gonna happen. More so if you're inviting orcs, or if you have undead, or things that are just way out there. I don't think that's feasible. That wouldn't fit the narrative. It's like they are in a parallel universe of Warhammer. But give me your opinions here. Do you think it's something that? Because I remember reading books. I remember reading some things about in the cities having stadiums for Blood Bowl, but I guess it was only for human teams. After I'm done with the metallic, I'm gonna paint these belts, highlight them, and then is when we're gonna start having fun, which is the shading part. The shading part is the best part. The base colors are just boring stuff, honestly. I don't really like these steps. So when I did the airbrush, the reason was simple. I just wanted to get rid of one of the stages of base coats or base colors. That was the most tedious one. You have to choose your battles, and well, it worked. I got quite a lot of the surface sorted out because of that. This means if I play with them, I think they would not look the part with the new teams. The new teams probably are like twice the size of these guys. I'm actually gonna look for comparisons as soon as I finish this. And scale creep is one of those things that just pisses me off so much. Like, you've been collecting miniatures for decades, and then all of a sudden when you just want Space Marine players, to give an example, okay? Space Marine are prevalent everywhere. You can see Space Marines left and right. Everybody has at least one Space Marine. If you play Warhammer, if you've been to a Games Workshop shop or a Warhammer shop as they call them now, chances are you have at least one Space Marine in your collection, at the very least, or you have painted one or whatever. But chances are you have interacted profoundly with a Space Marine. And seeing that the sizes are so off nowadays with the new box, the 11th edition, if you compare them to, we're not even mentioning the first edition, we're not even mentioning Rogue Trader, I'm not even going that back in time, but let's say 3rd edition, okay, which is the beginning of modern 40k. If you compare one of those just good wing Space Marines, multi-part, proper plastic, new bolter, you know, the basis for how Space Marines look nowadays, and you compare them to the new Space Marines. Yeah, I know, they did all the primaries thing and whatnot, and the size is just bigger. Oh my gosh, why would you do such a thing? I know why. It's because you want to send more miniatures and you're just forcing people to have more new stuff, but it's just, it's so insidious. It's such a crappy way of forcing people to buy miniatures. The freaking scale creep is I just get upset with Games Workshop as if my life depends on it. But it's scale creep. Yes, I just can't. And look, Smaller minis, faster to paint, okay? Easier to store, easier to transport. They make sense as gaming pieces. Why are we doing bigger and flashier? Okay, flashier, fine, whatever, but why are they becoming bigger and bigger and bigger? It's gonna get to a point where we're playing with He-Man, you know? Action figures. There we go. All right. After this guy is just painting a couple of details on the other guys, the receivers. Not much armor, and not much armor means less metallic color, and less metallic color means less work, because metallic, you need to cover surface. The blitzers here, they do have quite a lot of armor compared to this guy, but of course they are the ones taking the beating to the other team. So, and I still haven't sorted out the thing with 2 missing orcs, so what you gonna do? And I really want to paint the orcs. The orcs look amazing, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that before leaving. Yeah, another project for maybe when I come back next time in Christmas, or maybe I can bring them with me. I don't know. I have so many miniatures I want to bring with me to Romania, because I have so many half-finished projects around here. I'll show you a couple later. I have I even have miniatures I forgot I had bought, and miniatures I purpose, with all intent and purpose, I bought, saying, oh, that's gonna look cool in a video, and never got to them, never. So I have few projects that are gonna be like that, and because in Romania my streams are more about painting one single miniature every night, then that's gonna be more fun to tackle. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, let me see who else is here. Okay, this is a receiver. Okay, now let me see. Elbow plate, yes. Breastplate, yes. Chin guard, yes. Chin guard, all that, yes. Because nothing is worse than getting to go to the next step and seeing that you forgot something. Okay, now let's do this, guys. So they only have three metallic pieces: the belt buckle with the Acuna Imperialis, Imperial Eagle. This thing, this pauldron, how do you call this? I think in Spanish we call them Quijotes, like the knight, Quixote, but I'm not really sure what is the name of this in English. Quixote. And I also need to think about another video, something that is more long format, something that I talk about something about the hobby rather than painting. Painting, I feel like is more organic to do it this way, because there are so many tutorials, so many things going on already on YouTube, and I feel like I'm not teaching anybody anything new. I'm just doing my own thing. I mean, I guess some people probably benefit from videos like this, where you can see how you can do these things a different way, but content creation nowadays is like rife with people painting miniatures to very high level or quicker. So I'm kind of giving up on the sense of painting videos, and I'm not really sure what kind of content I can create anymore, because as I said, I'm not bringing anything new to the table. When I started the channel in 2017 or something like that, Nobody was doing this, or the people doing it were not publishing anything like this. If there were, I didn't see it. But this technique of mine is, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's very easy. Once you see how it works once, if you are slightly smart, you can figure out how to do it every single time. More so after they came up with contrast paints. Contrast paints were like the consolidation of what I was doing. There were no contrast paints when I started painting with washes. There were glazes, the ones that, you know, like I probably have one, like Reikland Green. Reikland Green is one of these. Yeah, shades, these things. This is how I began the channel, using these. But if I had pushed that content, if I had known how to push that content, if I had known if I had the technical skills that I have now, which are not great, but they were better than what I used to have. If I had known how to do all the editing and all these things, yeah, Rush the Wash would have been a little bit game changer. It's just that painting videos take forever to do and to edit as well, because you just want the good shots, you know. Okay, bueno, a ver. Vamos ahora the belts. And for the belts, I need to find, where is it? Here it is. We're gonna do Leviathan Blue. Leviathan Blue. Let's get to them. See, this is small stripe here. Let's get very thick Leviathan Blue, which feels like ink, like proper pen ink. That dark blue. Useful color too. Useful color. Let me just shake it up a little bit. I don't know if my chat box is dead or you guys are not typing anything, but it feels like nobody's typing anything. Why is everybody so quiet today? Anyways, just drop me a message, guys. Come on, I feel alone, lonely here. My cat doesn't talk to me. My wife is not at home. Say something. Please. I need company. Dani está ahí dándolo todo. Bueno, Dani por lo menos. Gracias, Dani. Dani, mañana nos vamos a tomar un vermú o algo. ¿Qué pasa? Te invito por YouTube. Te invito por YouTube. Qué bueno tú. I need to get a haircut tomorrow, by the way. So after that, I can go have a drink with you. Learning something, guys. If you are not a Spaniard, I'm gonna teach you part of our culture, which is having vermú, having a vermú. ¿Ok? Después entramos a las cañas. Vale, me vale. Having a vermú is this behavior that Spaniards have, where we meet before having lunch, and not necessarily at a restaurant. It could be, you know, everybody in their own house. So we meet and we go drink something before lunch. And yes, it can be alcoholic. It can be having a beer, it can be having a glass of wine, or as the word says, it can be having a vermouth. Vermouth is sweet wine, and it seems to be something that was invented because you will get low quality wine, not very good wine, and you just give it some sugar, some spices or something like that, and becomes very aromatic, and it's an aperitif. Many of you probably are familiarized with one of the most famous drinks ever, which is martini. And martini is a type of vermouth. You have bianco and you have rosso. Maybe there are more, probably there are more. but martini is a vermouth. It's a sweet drink that if you drink it before lunch, lunch tastes better. Sometimes you get a nap before lunch as well. But going for a vermouth means let's meet before we go to lunch and, you know, have a drink and discuss life in general. We Spaniards are very sociable creatures, so we enjoy doing that quite a lot. All right, now that I have the belts painted, I see, yeah, my eyes spy here. It's always the same, right? There's always somebody that I missed painting. I haven't painted all the belts because I'm talking about something else. A ver. Do you have anything like that in your cultures? I know that in America, drinking alcohol and like any time before the evening was a big no-no. In the place where I used to live, which was in the Bible Belt, you couldn't even buy drinks, alcohol, on Sundays. Like the supermarkets where you could buy beer and wine. That was something interesting. You could buy beer and wine in the supermarket, but you couldn't buy anything beyond that. For that, you needed to go to a liquor store, as if it was, you know, something very serious and it needed to be done separately from all the other drinks. Here in Spain, or in Romania for that matter, if you want to buy whiskey or rum or something like that, the supermarkets sell all that. But my culture shock is like, okay, I cannot buy whiskey, fine, whatever, but I can buy a Scar H or an what is the name of that thing? R15, yeah, an automatic rifle. I can buy guns in Walmart. I could buy guns in Walmart. Buying guns in Walmart for me was, as a European, was like, what the heck? So these contrasts in cultures are very fun for me. I love living abroad because you can experience things and you open your mind to other points of view like that. Because all of a sudden it's like, okay, for them it makes sense, but for me it doesn't. Why? And then you start exploring those ideas and seeing why why does it make sense in their mindset. And then you sometimes get to become convinced of things that you didn't believe you will be convinced about. Bueno, tenemos todos estos. Let me strategize this a little bit. I'm gonna use Azurman Blue to paint over the blue. So we're gonna darken, it's not paint, okay? We're gonna darken all these white highlights that look so awful with a glaze. Now a glaze has to be light, because what I want is that part to show under the color. So I'm basically equalizing the whole blue, and those white highlights are gonna become also blue highlights now. But we're gonna transform this blue, this Smurf blue, into something much more, I will say, rich. You know, it has this appearance of more expensive fabric. The dye is more expensive, if it makes any sense. There you go. Vale. That's what I want to achieve with each one of these. Gloves as well. Careful not to stain the ball. Gloves and helmet. I would love to know where some of my viewers are from. Me encantaría saber de dónde sois algunos para preguntaros cosas, because I have questions about cultures, I have questions about customs, I have questions about things that are not even related to Warhammer, but you know, I'm very curious about that. If you guys have been to Spain, what was the most striking thing about Spain to you, and why? And then I can answer questions. Like, a lot of people ask me about siestas, a lot. Like, oh, you guys are from Spain. You guys sleep siestas there, right? And it's a cliche, and it's not always true. But here comes the but. Yes. If you live in a place that is hot, like Sevilla or Andalusia in general, in the summertime, where the temperatures go well above 40 degrees Celsius, then bear in mind, quite a lot of places around here don't have air conditioning, and these days have been awfully hot. Today's quite nice actually, but these days have been awfully hot, even in the north. If you live in a place like that, there are some hours of the day that you cannot go out. It is just unbearably hot, and this custom comes from when people were working in the fields, yeah? And if you're working in the fields, you know, toiling away, and the sun is on top of you at 40 degrees Celsius, you're not gonna do anything. You're probably gonna get sick or die. Because physical labor under such conditions is not sensible. It's dangerous actually. So what else can you do? Well, if you have a chance, you're probably gonna take a nap. And this goes combined with the fact that at night it's gonna be hot as well, and you didn't have a good sleep. Because you know, you need to be cool to actually sleep proper. So I guess that's the best explanation why people still have siestas sometimes. And these past days, after probably 2 p.m. or something like that, and if you had lunch or whatever, there was nothing for you to do outside, you might as well have a nap. ¿Por qué no? God dang it, see, I didn't get this helmet painted properly. La siesta de 2 horas que me he echado hoy. Jaja. Pues sí, yo también he siesteado un poco. I also had a mini nap today a couple of times. Because sometimes you just, you know, you don't choose napping sometimes. Napping happens. Es just, es lo que hay. Te jodes como Herodes. Napping just happens. Napping just happens. Be a cat, my man. If you have a cat, you know they know how to live life. They play, they have zoomies, they clean themselves, they eat, and then sleep. And that's the best way to actually tackle life. Don't stress, just chill. Because what the heck are you doing? Like, why are you even stressing for? We all are gonna die. Just relax. Nobody's getting alive out of this. Vale, otro más. Let me have some water. Whew. And before I forget, let me just retouch this guy who I saw. I didn't paint the eagle on its forehead. Aquí está. Dani, ¿tú has jugado a Cyberpunk? Have you played Cyberpunk? ¿O es un juego que no has tocado todavía? Vale, siguiente. Next. A ver. Okay. Let's glaze this. There we go. I think I need to wash my brushes tonight, so the ferrule doesn't get full of crap, which is starting to happen. That's one of the things with washes and contrast. They have this tendency to go into the ferrule, so you have to be careful. Even though I keep my paint mostly on the tip, I'm quite careful with that, but it just happens. The capillarity of the hairs will push it to the ferrule, this part, and if you want to maintain them in good condition, and this is a Rosemary & Co, okay, this is not any crappy brush, is a decent brush. So in order to maintain these in good condition for a while, washing them with some proper brush soap is paramount, which, by the way, I was not able to buy in Romania at the hobby store that I go to. So I guess Amazon it is. I'm gonna get some of my favorite soap, which is right here. By the way, if you want to know what I'm using, is this thing. This is the tits. This is what you should have. Everybody that has proper brushes needs this in their lives. Okay, you just open this thing, get your brush going through it with a little bit of moist on it. As you can see, I'm using it quite often. And then leave it for a while, and then just get your brush against your hand, which works fine. And the gunk that gets into it will start just coming out. Very good stuff. So for maintaining your brushes, something like that is paramount. More so when you're spending some money in decent brushes. More so when the brushes are made of poor beautiful animals like sable, which breaks my heart, honestly, but jeez, the quality is just so good. So if I can avoid buying more brushes just because I maintain them, that at least gives me a little bit of peace of mind that I'm not responsible for killing way too many of those beautiful creatures. If it makes any sense, I guess, I don't know. Boom. All right. Yo, this music slaps. I like it. Okay, 3. And now, okay, these guys, I have to be careful because I don't want to go into this white part over here, although I think I'm gonna have to anyways. Painted yellow. That is something that is going to be painted yellow. So if I can avoid this wash to go in there, that's a win already, because I'm gonna save some time. But if you are smarter than me, which you probably are, you could avoid this carefulness of me right now, the one that I'm exhibiting here, by just painting the white lines in between after you do this glaze. If you want to copy the method, is very easy. As I said, right? We did a first coat with calf blue, clear, yes, calf blue, this one. This guy here, calf blue. And then after that is just white highlights, and then after that is just glazing with azurmen blue, contrast. Glazing, yes, which means that you have to have the paint slightly watered down so you don't go way too strong, because you want those white highlights to be numbed, to become blue, but not to be overwhelmed by the wash that we do give in here. Not the wash, sorry, the glaze. Like so. All right, let's go to the glove here. Believe it or not, after I do this and a couple of things, the miniatures are almost finished. They don't look like that, but I know I know this because I painted the test one yesterday and I learned how much time they actually take. So tonight I'm feeling quite comfortable that at the very least these guys are gonna be finished. Not the base. The base takes a little bit longer. Actually, it took quite a long time for this green to dry enough so I could do the dry brush with yellow. But I don't feel like the bases are gonna be finished tonight, but they will be ready for me to wake up tomorrow, have a coffee in the morning and just finish the bases. And then tomorrow I feel like I'm gonna be able to, not tomorrow, tomorrow I have a game. Yeah, I'm playing a game. I'm playing Dungeons Universalis. But I feel like this week I'm gonna finish the whole human team and probably gonna start the orc team already. But Trubo, my friend Trubo who plays Blood Bowl, is telling me that there are limitations to how many players you have in any given team. And he told me you only need, I think it's 4, 2, 2, 2. So 4 linemen, 2 blitzers, 2 is a thrower, I guess, and 2 receivers. You cannot have more than that in the new edition, at least. The old edition, I'm not sure. If you know, please let me know. So I think it's kind of pointless painting 19 guys, but I have them primed already and sorted out, so I guess I'll do it anyways. But I don't even have enough transfers for all of them, so I don't know what to do. Just paint all the minis, right? Because that's what we should do. That's what we should be aiming for. Paint all the minis. Paint the minis, man. But it's counterproductive because I could be painting something else more useful if I'm not gonna play them. Alright. Look at the difference in color, eh? Look at that blue. This is beautiful blue for I don't think they make this anymore, do they? In the Imperial Guard, or Astra Militarum, as they call it now, Imperial Guard, they had Mordians. There was this regiment, the Mordian regiment, very nice uniforms with blue pants, and they look like this blue, very, very nice blue actually. So there you go, if you have Mordians, boom, you can paint them like this. Very cool color. I'm also painting my Empire. I have a unit of spearmen that I want to finish. Almost there, by the way. Almost there. I just have 10 more to finish it, and then I will have a big chunk of the Empire on the table. But I stopped for painting these guys. I've been painting that unit for months. Every time that I come back to Spain, I tackle a few more. And because they are Stirland, they have to be yellow and green. And well, it's taking a while. But it's right behind me. They're looking at me like saying, hey, can you just finish us? It's one of these days, can you just finish us? Look, see what I mean? This is straight from the pot. It's just too much. The color is just too intense. So what I need to do now is I'm wetting my brush and pulling some of it and pushing it into other places, so I can leave those highlights so there is some contrast, you know, because otherwise it's just gonna be very dark blue, very intense, and you don't want that. You want some contrast. You want the volumes to exaggerate themselves. Small minis need even more difference in volume, and in order to achieve that, you obviously need to exaggerate the shadows and the highlights, because you're gonna be looking at these minutes from a distance, and if the volumes are not exaggerated, they are unnoticeable. If they are unnoticeable, well, there is no point on trying to do highlights. You just could leave them with one single color, and that will be fine. A ver. Okay, now here I might pull it off. I might, without needing to do much retouching to those cuts in the vest. Just doing some Casandora yellow. I think Casandora yellow is the best color for yellow. If you need to paint something quick, Casandora yellow. It has this tint that creates orangish shading. It's a rich yellow, very good color. In general, one of the best for painting yellows, I will say, hands down. If you want something more regal, then Imperial Fists. If you want something more pale, Bad Moon Yellow. But beyond that, if you want something that is like a jack of all trades, something that will work fine in most scenarios, Casandora Yellow, for sure. Okay, too much. How beautiful is it to paint with washes? I'm thinking about how long it took to generate these shading and highlights and shading and highlights back in the day, with layers and layers and layers. And now it's just an administrative process of filling the blanks, and it will just do it. It will just do it for you. I still like having that drastic highlight kind of, you know, like that symbol. It looks a little bit like layering, but it's just the two steps: base color, white highlights or ice yellow highlights, and then glaze, and done, sorted, finished. Next. Whereas back in the day it will be okay, primate black, base color, no sorry, the shade color, the darkest one, and then highlight in the middle, and then highlight again, and then final highlight with white or something like that if you really want it to be striking. Nah, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's just too much effort. I admire people who can do that still, by the way, and churn miniatures out doing that. I just can't. I just want to finish. Come on. This means I'm not gonna paint themselves, and I'm an old man already, so. All right, helmet. Now we're gonna do the metals. So for the silver metallics, we're gonna use non-oil, and for the areas that should be gold, we're gonna use Nasdrake yellow, and that's gonna be it. All right, let's do that now. Mouse here. Finished on that. Non-oil. Where's my non-oil? Here it is. This is gonna go into the silver metallic areas. Luckily for me, not too many of that. And this is gonna darken that metal enough to create a little bit more of contrast, which later we're gonna highlight. This doesn't need to be there. Non-oil is quite useful. I would say it's one of the most useful paints that you can have in your arsenal. My friend Alex from the Hobby Grotto uses it all the time. And I was like, really? Do you really need it? Well, actually, if you want to paint like this, if you want to paint fast, it is so useful. It is one of those paints that you should definitely have. More so because if you use Agrax Earthshade for what I'm doing now, it creates the sensation that the metal is slightly rusted, which is fine in certain factions, but for humans like this one, I prefer this kind of patina, which is just black. It's like oil or something like that. Vamos allá. See, right here, let's see, look at that. All right, look at the difference between nothing and some non-oil. This effect we used to achieve differently though, but we used to achieve something similar by painting the metallic areas with black. I'm talking about a long time ago, okay? Black, and dry brushing the metals. Or you will use as well a black wash, but the black washes back then were very different. They didn't behave like this. They will be, you need to be more controlled. They will stain everything equally. They wouldn't go into the recesses. They wouldn't be as neat and clean as this. But there you go. All right, 1, 2. Let's go to the third one. Third thrower. Third thrower. And I still need to think. I haven't thought yet. Well, I have some ideas, but I haven't made myself. I haven't made my mind myself about how to paint the ball and the glove. This other one, this glove. I'm talking about this. In the pictures, it looks like an orangish terracotta kind of color. So that's something I would like to achieve, but I need to think what color combination I can do. And I don't want to do something that requires 3 or 4 steps. I want something that is very straightforward and not much work. So I need to figure it out now before I move on. I didn't paint your mouth guard. Okay. But first, Nazareth yellow. And after I get Nazareth yellow, I shall be alright. Okay, vamos allá. Nazareth yellow now for the gold. And the gold is just the eagles right here. Careful, I don't want to stain the areas around. This whole thing, I think it's gold in the minis. And this one. Which is a very sensible color because it goes fantastically well against the blue. It's such a nice contrast. These two go very, very well together. Dos y tres. 3 of these guys. And then these other guys as well. Same thing. Same thing over here. It's been years since I'm doing this, and I still find it so fascinating that you can paint any metals, one single color, and then you put Nasdaq yellow and boom, you have such a nice gold. Back in the day I will be painting silver with silver, gold with a gold color, and then for the gold I will do some, you know, some washes like sepia or something like that. But this does it all in one single step. That's it. Okay, you can highlight it if you want. You can do other effects. Some effects that I like doing in gold with miniatures that are a little bit more, you know, centerpieces of the armies. Maybe giving it a glaze with red, maybe giving it a glaze with purple, so you enrich that color. But when you're painting batch miniatures like these ones, that is just, you just need a team. You just need something like this. That's it. Done. Sorted. Don't overdo it. You don't need to do nothing extraordinary here. Nowadays more people paint the miniatures, but back in the day the bare minimum was enough. Okay, and when I mean the bare minimum is something like this. This is not the bare minimum, but something like this will, in some tournaments, will earn you best painted. So when the curve was so skewed towards people not painting their armies, and all of a sudden you came with something like this, it was like, what the heck? Alright, let's do Cassandra yellow, as I said. We're gonna put it inside these things. And let's see how it looks, if it actually works. Yes, I think it does. Good thing I didn't stain them. Boom. Perfecto. When it dries, it's gonna look even better. Careful so I don't go over the blue. I don't want to go over the blue. I don't want to stain the areas around them. But I'm telling you, this is the easiest way to paint yellow by far. Just have it, you know, in white, put some Cassandra yellow, and bam, you have an instant very nice yellow with those dark tones over there that look kind of orangish. Perfecto, oye, a mí me parece fascinante. 1, 2, 3, 4. The other guy doesn't have a sash or anything like that, like the lineman. I don't need to worry about this. Muy bien. And one more. One more. One more. Ya está, mira, ¿no? Okay. Vale, now Drakenhof Nightshade on the boots. Let's go. Drakenhof Nightshade on the boots. See, I did the Leviathan blue and then white highlights. Now we're gonna kill those white highlights. Well, not kill them, but make them more subtle with Drakenhof Nightshade. Like that. You still have a transition, but it's not as strong as it used to be. See, this is just too much. So what we're gonna do is do this. Wahaha. This guy is done. Let's go. Let me see if I can focus better my camera. Where can I get the handbook for Blood Bowl? Because that's something that is missing on my box. I just have the start here, the quick start to play, but I would like to see the handbook, the old one. Just have, you know, all the materials that the box used to have. A D8, I can't find it. That's something that I'm missing, but I can't find one in my collections of old role-playing game dice. But I think I need to find myself a handbook in Spanish, because it's a Spanish version of the game. I think it's Wallapop time again. Okay, 3 more over here, and then we're gonna start with the flesh and think about how I'm gonna paint those freaking gloves and the ball. I'm like, right now in my head I'm running simulations with colors such as flesh colors or whatnot, but I'm not sure that's gonna be the case, is it? I'm not sure if it's gonna be okay. Not really sure how it will look. A ver. Uno más, one more. Once I paint the flesh, they basically become playable. Because that's it. That's the part that is gonna tie most of the mini together. I just have a couple more details that I have to deal with, and just a couple of things that I would like to work with. But more or less these guys are almost over. It's funny how fast you can paint. Alright, Dreadful Visage. Before I do that, Dreadful Visage is this weird purple, grayish purple. It's like a smoky purple color, and it works quite well, as I said yesterday, to paint shadows in white. Okay, notice that. I'm gonna just make it there we go. And then here, what I'm gonna do later is I'm gonna give it a last highlight on white. Anyways, this is the area where they're gonna have the transfers at. So highlighting it too much is not gonna be necessary, but just to make sure that it looks clean. Whoa, the focus today is not great, is it? Dreadful Visage. Another one of those colors that you buy and you think to yourself, what am I gonna do with this? Well, there you go. This is what you can do with it. I have another one that I don't really know what to do with it. It's Tyler, this one, I think. Briar Queen Shield, yeah, it's a couple of these. They are very weird colors. I guess you can use for the same thing here, like working with whites, giving them a different, shade. But they are very pale colors and they don't lend themselves too well to doing what contrast colors do very well, which is covering big surfaces and creating effects on them. But believe me, there is always something you can do with these colors. Once you discover them for a particular effect and you start using it continuously, then they become one of the best tools that you have in your arsenal. As I said, I didn't know what to do with. How many have you finished? I have finished one, man. But I'm on the process right now. This is the first one. This is the one from yesterday. But I'm on the process of 7, of finishing 7 tonight. And give me maybe 40 minutes and they're gonna look quite finished. And 40 minutes is a stretch. I might say earlier than that. So, how are you? Are you painting anything tonight? Well, today. So I was saying, when it's like that thing that I discovered with whatchamacallit, ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue. The first time that I used it, I was like, what the heck? I don't like it. What is this? It's just there's no transitions, nothing. It's just the dark color. There's nothing to do with it. The same thing with Leviathan blue. It's like, nothing to do with it. But then Leviathan blue, I water it down, and it becomes Drakenhof Nightshade whenever I don't have access to it. I can use it for painting beards, like the 5 o'clock shade. I can use it to do things such as, this is Leviathan blue, not watered down. If I keep it as is, I can use it to paint tattoos. So, playing Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. Is this what I'm reading? Of all the things I will expect seeing today, that is not one of them. Alright, what about Magmatron Flame? I'm trying to figure out what to do here. Alright, so Can you hear me? Hello, hello? Can you hear me? I think my battery has been worn down, so I need to put it to charge, but this is a different microphone, so let me know if you can hear me. In the meantime, I'm gonna put this thing back. Good now, okay, let's load. I was under the impression that the microphone that I was using will be charging on the receiver on the side of the computer, but alas, it is not. So, what was I saying? Cyberpunk 2077. This is a game that I have spent so many hours on it, and it's another one of those cases where AAA games just let you down, but if the company is good, they will pull their weight and they will do something awesome. This is one of those cases. CD Red Project, or they did such a nice job with it. At the end, unfortunately, at the end, after people like returning it and whatnot, it was such a big drama for that game. So the fact that we have to wait for the companies to pull their weight and do things properly just to get a freaking video game, man, it's unbelievable. Why have we normalized this behavior from them? It's something that I don't understand. It's the same thing with Games Workshop. If you come to think of it, I watched some reviews on the newest Warhammer Quest, and as I commented this already, but the miniatures look fantastic, but when you play the game, the missions are all over the place, like always bored, never bored, something like that. What is the name of that channel? He reviews all dungeon crawlers and whatnot. He has a nice channel, by the way. Well, he did a review on the Warhammer Quest, and I trust his judgment because this guy knows how to play those games, and he was saying that the experience was not up to par with the price that you would pay for a game like that. So what is going on? Why are we even allowing these things to happen? Okay, and people say, yeah, well, you have to vote with your money. Cool, but I'm just one voter. Okay, I'm just one voter. There are people who will buy no matter what anything. So I don't understand, why does it have to be in 3 different releases? Is it so big that the game cannot actually be contained into one single release, or is it because they are charging you 3 times for a game that it used to be one release? What is going on here? see. A couple of us only now. But I'm gonna grind these guys until I finish them. Because whatever. You guys are gonna see them finished. No matter what. You stick to the end, you'll see them finished. That's the reward. You know? The money shot. Money shot right there. Greyhound Charger, no, Greyhound Orange. Look at that. Perfect color for this. And I was thinking about doing all things like, oh, I'm gonna use these, I'm gonna use that. This is the perfect color for that. I don't understand the hell with it. There we go. One more. One more, ladies and gentlemen. One more ball. And then it's gonna be the flesh and retouches. Wow, that's it. I'm on up. Yeah, 30 minutes, I will say. 30 minutes, no more. Just a few retouches here and there, and this is gonna be it. Basically, a big chunk of the team is already painted. Then a bigger chunk. Ugh. So many linemen. Why? Why, God? Why are my... Oh, really? So many linemen. But you can tell, you can see the appeal of this game, for sure. For sure there is appeal on this game. This is small. It is manageable. It's something that you can paint in a week of painting sessions. It's not gonna take forever like a Warhammer army. And the beauty of something like this is that you can actually say, well, I finished this team and I want to try another one, so I'm gonna just buy it and paint it. I'm just gonna buy another one and paint it. Of course this game is gonna be popular. It's gonna sell itself all the time. Now then, up there. Flesh now. Love it or hate it, love it or hate it, Blood Bowl, of course, is going to be popular. It has the perfect idea for people who want to collect a few miniatures and finish them and move on and do another one. Because yeah, Morheim is beautiful. The idea, oh, you're gonna buy a warband, boom, okay, cool, and now you're gonna do, you need to have a city, you need to have a lot of scenery with vertical stuff, so it actually looks the way that it should look, and it plays the way it should play. And I think they try to do this with Warhammer Underworld, I think is the name of that, where you have a board and you just need to paint a small box of miniatures. But I'm not really sure how popular that is nowadays. But Blood Bowl, and on top of that, it's a sport. You know, it's like it's very relatable in that sense. You will have people who are sport fans and they will love this. Rugby and American football, for sure, they will love this thing. They will love this. No wonder. I mean, Jervis Johnson was quite smart on this design.
Those people have good ideas, eh? Is he still working for Games Workshop? I think he is. Jervis Johnson is maybe the only one from the old guard. Rick Priestley left. Who else? What's his name? Oh my gosh, he looked like a rock star. I forgot his name. Andy Taylor, was it? The one who had long hair. All these designers, they had awesome ideas. Gafford, well, maybe not so awesome, but he was cool. He was part of it. I don't think I've seen him winning a single game that they ever had on White Door. Never. That guy. And his armies were a little bit too weak, like the High Elves and I think Dark Elves also were his. A ver. Almost done with this guy. Just need a bit of flesh color to highlight those areas. These guys are super easy to paint. They are a no-brainer. I mean, the metal teams, sorry, were much more appealing. The humans were much more nicer. Of course, metal miniatures back then were the premium option. They had more positions, more stuff going on for them. Here is just the same sculpt repeated over and over again. But one more. Let's see. Right. Is it? It is, isn't it? Vale. Okay. Now, final highlights. You need to retouch this flesh and the white. Let's start with the flesh, probably. Let me just get some of these nostalgia colors. This is a little bit too much, but I might work. Or it's orange. This is orange? No, this is black. This is okay, I guess. Bronze fresh. This is too orangish. It might work for something else. And this is okay. I need to think about this. I think I'm gonna do this one. Let's see. Yeah, contrast paints work very well with all minis. The reason probably is that they are small and the details are not too subtle, so anything that you do to them is gonna look good. Okay, let's see. This is gonna work, I guess. I need to be careful just to highlight not too much with this flesh, so I can get some extra contrast in it. But I'm thinking about which color will work best here, and I'm not sure if this is the right option. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe. Maybe. If I'm careful. And if I'm not, I'm gonna glaze it a little bit later. But it seems to be okay. More so when it dries. When it dries, it becomes more opaque, not so shiny. It's not showing what it should be showing. A ver. Not fully convinced though. What if I use orange? Let me see. Wait, I'm still on time to. Orange might be more down the avenue here. Alright, let's try it with the ball. Let's try with the ball. Let's get some of it. Ah, but it needs to be mixed. It's just all the pigment is settled, and I didn't do that. I should have done that. That's the bad thing about painting these dropper bottles. Let's see. Not enough contrast, is it? It's just orange, but not enough contrast. Let me see. I try to mix it a little bit, and then it becomes too yellowish. Let's see. Let's see. I'm not afraid of making it look bad, because the good thing with this method of painting is if anything sucks, you just glaze it. Because we are at that moment where it's like, let's find the right color for highlighting this. And if it just doesn't work, glaze it. Glaze it with something else. Now it needs to dry. It needs to dry, but I think I'm onto something here. My brain is just mixing colors in my head. I'm trying to figure out what we need to do for this to actually work. Not really sure though. I like the color before more, but I want to obtain some volume. And I was saying, yeah, I'm gonna do something that doesn't require too many steps. Well. Here we are, as the meme says for GTA. Oh shit, here we go again. A ver. What about the glove? What about the glove? Is it gonna work better? Nah, I think I'm gonna guess this needs to be glazed. This is right. But okay, let's do all the balls the same color, just in case. You know. And also the paint is kind of streaky. I don't know why I'm not painting the right way, but once I glaze it again with the right color, god dang it, I guess it will look okay. But now I'm just gonna go and highlight the other gloves. So I was using nostalgia colors, this flesh color, and that's what I'm gonna use for the gloves. I'm gonna have to use. I'm gonna have to use some glazing on them. But okay, fine. I can live with this. Very rough because, as I said, if we're gonna use glazing, there's no point on being very careful or subtle here. The glazing is gonna normalize all the colors and make it more palatable to our eyesight. There we go. What time is it there where you are at now? Because here is 1 a.m. Good thing I'm not working tomorrow. Well, kind of. I still have to do things online, but because it's summer break, it's not the same as going to class. So I'm using flesh color, bronze flesh, right? Yes, bronze flesh from Nostalgia 94, which, by the way, I'm okay with the color, but it needs something. It's just too much in your face, and without this it is not subtle enough for the highlights, but without it there is not enough contrast either. So the catch-22. Now, figuring out what is the wash that I'm going to use, that's another thing altogether. I think I'm going to use something like a flesh wash, believe it or not, just to normalize these colors. Let's see. And I've been moving. Now my hand is always in front of the camera. Right now it's 750, 650, sorry. 650? What do you mean? 1850. How many hours difference do we have between you and I? Because here is like 115. Huh? I don't get it. That's strange. Usually it's like 4 hours difference, like +5, -5, things like that. But yours is like your time zone is weird compared to mine then. Okay, now that I've done that, and I see that I don't really like it, it's time for Mr. Ice Yellow. Mr. Ice Yellow is going to give me that final highlight that is going to create the most volume for most things here. But first and foremost, let's get it to the consistency I want it to be. Let's highlight the flesh as well. And then final highlights on the glove. This paint is just 8K interactive. The paints are so superior to everything else. I'm not getting paid by them. They should pay me, by the way, but I'm not getting paid by them. But just the way it covers, the way it acts, like those Vallejo paints I was using right now, they're such a pain in the neck sometimes. This one is it just came out of the tube, boom, and it works how it's supposed to work. No questions asked. Look at this. Perfect coverage. No weird stuff happening. No streaks. Nothing. God dang it. This is how paints should always work. No brainer. Fantastic stuff. AK, hats off. All the time I use these paints, I just cannot stop admiring how good they are. Madre mia, chaval. What a difference. What a difference. All those streaks were pissing me off, and this has just restored my faith in humanity and my painting skills. Feed the kids, man. Kids always first. Thank you for passing by. I'm just gonna hang out here until I finish this, guys, even if I'm alone. So, cheers, mate. Good night. Esto sí, hombre, sí. Esto sí que es una pasada de pintura. Estoy más solo que la una, creo. Soy yo y mis circunstancias. Tengo unas miniaturas que terminar. No pasa nada. Es para mí, al fin y al cabo, un placer estar aquí conmigo mismo. Y si hay que pintar, se pinta. Vamos a dar un poquito aquí de vida a este cinturón. Esto me olvido. Highlights. So get the volume right. Why not, right? Ya está. We came here to play games. They can interact with you. Why are they so damn good? Like they're mugging all these other paints. One single color ice yellow is mugging all the other paints that I've been using so far. It's just telling them, watch this, hold my beer. Joder. Así sí, colega. Así sí. Joder. Es que es otra cosa, tú. Es otra cosa, tú. I think I need to start my streams early. Voy a empezar a hacer stream un poquito más temprano, si puedo, porque veo que mis visionarios, mis visualizaciones, la gente que me ve, está aquí en España. You guys are in Europe, and this is a little bit too late for everybody else. A ver, voy a hacer este. It's also 1:20 a.m. and I've been saying I'm gonna finish this, guys, but you know what? I can do this tomorrow morning. I just want to know how this thing is gonna look if I do the highlights like this and then reglaze it. Ok, brutal, tío. Brutal. Este brazo no me gusta. I'm gonna highlight the whole thing. It has just too much blue underneath. So I'm gonna have to redo it. Yeah. Es que AK is just the best freaking paint I have of all the others. Is flowing flawlessly. It's doing its job. Its coverage is on point. The control I can have, it is way better than any of the other paints. I was getting super frustrated with this Vallejo orange, just leaving streaks, and this thing is just coming in here, doing its job, not doing anything weird, not leaving any marks. ¿Esto qué es, tío? O sea, look at this. Yes, the small line, the one that is going to define the volume of the belt. It's fantastic coverage. Just the small highlights. Fantastic coverage. Every single time it just works as intended. This is how miniature painting should happen. I'm not complaining. I'm not thinking about what am I doing wrong with the paint. The paint is acting as it's supposed to be acting without any significant effort from my side. It's just magnificent stuff. Thank God there are companies like this one that know their business, they know what they're doing, they know how it should work. I'm not saying anything bad about Vallejo right now, but the paints that I was using right now from Vallejo were letting me down left and right. And this is not happening with this AK paint. No está pasando. Está pasando justo lo que tiene que pasar, que es que yo coja el pincel y pinte una puñetera línea recta sin matarme. Joder, qué diferencia tan abismal, es que es increíble. Estoy alucinando. Mira, 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 aquí, mira, mira, mira el volumen, mira cómo lo marco, mira. Un poquito por aquí, un poquito por aquí, paz. Perfecto. Otro poco por aquí, otro poco por aquí, paz. Perfecto. ¿Qué es esto, tío? ¿Qué me estás contando? ¿Qué me estás contando? O sea... No, hombre, no. I'm so glad I bought AK instead of any other brand for the paints I use in Romania. That's why my sessions are so satisfactory. Satisfactory, no, satisfying. Satisfying. Okay. You know what? It's late. I was getting frustrated with the orange. This has returned the vibe, okay? The vibe was coming back to me. I just want to do something. I just want to do something. I just want to I want to go back to these guys tomorrow morning. I'm just gonna finish this guy off. And the other one. Okay, the flesh here was all over the place because the white didn't cover properly. Now I'm gonna give it a very light glaze compared to the one before. Very light on top of this. It's just that, nothing else. And let's see if it works the same for the pigskin. Very light glaze with the same Gilliman flesh. I'm not complaining, by the way, about contrast paints. Contrast paints work as intended. But other brands, other things in my collection right now, they are earning themselves a place in the trash. Not AK. Not AK. AK, oh my dear man. Look at this. What the heck? AK, you're doing your job, man. And I have zero complaints about AK right now. AK Interactive. This freaking thing. I swear. Okay, let's see if the same thing is applicable here. This guy, sorry, this guy. Okay. Highlights, let's just mute them down a little bit with Gilliman flesh. Just a little bit. Good. And here, very light glaze. This is the way it should be. Ahí lo tienes. This is the way it should be. Just that. Let me just get some more arcade interactive on this guy, because I'm experimenting right now. A little bit of highlights. Yes, very thin last highlights. What is this here? This paint is, yes, the way it should be. Here. Claro que sí, claro que sí, claro que sí. Look at this. This volume here is gonna be. Well, you have some days, right, when the paints don't do what you need them to do, the things don't work the way you want them to work, and AK to the rest. I think I'm gonna be done with this right now, because it's time to go to bed, right? 1 a.m. Did quite a lot. I put a big dent on the team already. These guys can be finished tomorrow morning whilst I have coffee. And no rush. But look at that. I'm quite happy. Okay, quite happy with him. He just needs a little white highlights here to make it cleaner. And same for the other ones. But if they end up looking like this, all of them, that's good enough for me. Anyways, bueno chicos, to go to bed. Time to call it a night. Let's do some. That's it basically. Let's just say goodbye. Get the music go a little bit louder, and you know who I am. This has been Rasta Wash. I'm gonna continue painting these guys. Tomorrow I have a game. I have a game of Dungeon Universal, so I'm not gonna be painting in the channel, but you will see when the video comes out. You will know when to join, and if you want to see more minis painted, this is where you can come see them. Old stuff. Just do it for the love of painting miniatures and hanging out with you guys. So, un beso, hasta mañana, no hasta mañana, hasta pasado, y adiós. Cuidaos, chicos. Ta-ta. Look at these guys.